So, you want to wake up, huh? You're into non-duality, maybe you're into spirituality, particular religion, and you hear about awakening, coming to see your true nature, coming to see the self, and it sounds super mystical. It sounds like this almost a superhuman achievement, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's all kind of bullshit. So why is it all bullshit? It's all bullshit because it's just an idea at the end of the day. That's the simplest way to explain it. It's because your whole search, that which is searching, is that which you are trying to find while you're searching. The search itself is being conducted by that which is, by the universe, by God, by the capital S self, ultimate reality, whatever name you want to put on it, because at the end of the day, you can literally call it whatever you want because it's literally just a name. This is what we are trying to get at here in terms of non-duality awakening, is really seeing through the illusions that you have created within your mind. So in order to go beyond those illusions, something that has helped me is kind of tuning more into my own body. So a problem that I had was getting caught in intellectualism, trying to understand reality and thinking that by having a more concrete understanding, I was going to kind of get something out of it. And I will say that I think that the searching is a key point in pretty much everyone's journey. But you get to a certain point where that searching isn't yielding much fruit. And it just kind of feels like you're chasing this unknown object that it's like you're just a dog chasing its tail. And you kind of actually are. That is kind of what's going on, because to try to find God or the universe, oneness, whatever you want to call it, in your mind, it's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen in concept. You're never going to realize God in concept, because God is ultimately beyond concept. That which isn't changed by you thinking differently, if that makes sense. Now, I don't say this to completely negate thinking. Thinking is a tool, but this realization it kind of shines light on our over-attachment to thinking. And what really resonates for me is the law of non-attachment in Buddhism, because the more we can not attach to physical objects, to thoughts, then the greater our capacity to center ourselves in that which is, in true reality. And then we can actually begin to use those thoughts for maybe a greater good, or they become more helpful because they're not focused on escaping these feelings or this circumstance. They're more focused on accepting and moving forward, because ultimately what is happening in our lives right now is the result of our doing in some sense. So it's kind of, when you become more aware, you see the role that you are playing in your own suffering. And that, honestly, that was a hard pill for me to swallow. To just see that I myself am perpetuating the suffering. And I think a major aspect of this is comfortability, to be honest. So if we're seeking, right, we're seeking enlightenment, we're seeking an escape. Because if we're seeking enlightenment, it's often like a sign of like running away, right? Like if you're really seeking, you I mean, why are you seeking, right? It's usually suffering is what provokes this seeking to come up. And a lot of it is this escapism. And that kind of becomes a baseline. So, we know our suffering. Like our suffering after a while, right? It just becomes the norm. And to kind of branch out of that norm is, I mean, it's scary, right? Like humanity, the human condition, the ego operates on certainty, right? Like it's very black and white. Thought is very black and white. Like this is this way, this is that way. That's all. Like there's not a lot of room for like gray, right? But I mean, at least for me, I came to a point where I just could not continue in that way. Like I just wasn't getting anywhere. Like you get to the seeking gets to a point where it's just like you can't go any further, I guess. Like you just see that, oh wow, like there's a new concept for me to mess around with in my brain. Like that's literally kind of what it is. Like it's just it's like mental gymnastics, basically. I mean, it's kind of philosophy in a way. Like it is just dancing with thoughts, like just which is fine once again. But if we are so desperate and over attaching to these thoughts and just hoping that they are going to bring us something, that, I'm sorry to break it to you, but those thoughts aren't going to give you enlightenment. What is going to give you enlightenment is letting go of those thoughts, letting go of whatever you're over attaching to. Whatever you are really attaching to is attachment really is the root of suffering, in a sense. So the more you attach to something, the greater you will suffer. And that may sound cold, but once again, going back to Buddhism, the law of impermanence, things are not permanent, right? So when we attach to something, it's kind of the ego basically going back to survival mode, right? Like the ego is so set on surviving, and now that we have our base necessities taken care of, our survival now is in a conceptual way. So we want solid things conceptually now. But these things are also not solid. Nothing is truly solid. Everything is always changing. Everything is temporal. It's just, it comes and it goes, right? But realizing that your true nature does not come and go, it kind of takes the load off of reality. It's like you begin to see the frailty in it. You begin to see how it passes. Like things do, in a sense, come and go. And the more that you can accept that and not over attach to one thing, the more peace and contentment you will have in your life. And this isn't to say that, to just be cold and just distance yourself from everyone. That's not the case. It's just sometimes we can over attach ourselves to things or places, people, to our own detriment, in a way. And it just kind of perpetuates our suffering. So a big thing for me was acceptance, just letting go, accepting the temporal nature of things, reflecting on the impermanence of things. Also, kind of accepting the plight that you have been given, like the accepting whatever is coming up in your life. And if you're in like an abusive relationship or something like that, I'm not saying to accept maltreatment, but accepting the things that you can't control, accepting the things that you wish were different, but you know they can't be right now. The more you resist it, the more you suffer. It's like a river. So I think of resistance like there's a river flowing. It's going quick. It's a fast flowing river, and you're just trying to walk upstream. That's you resisting whatever it is that you can't control in your life. The more you resist that, the more you're going against kind of this natural flow of energy. And the more you can accept your current circumstances, the things you can't control, the greater peace you will have, because you're not trying to like escape, right? And when you accept, you kind of build the foundation. The foundation is acceptance. If you're resisting, it's like you're failing to build the foundation. Sometimes resistance can be okay, but at the end of the day, it's probably going to lead to acceptance. So it's a tough one, but acceptance can be very difficult. I know that from personal experience. But I will say that it has been transformative for me in my life. The more you can accept and just accept who you are, what you've been given, the greater peace you will have, and the less caught up in externals you will be. And so how does this relate to finding your true nature, finding God, finding oneness? The root of finding that is acceptance. So I'll just put it bluntly. If you could accept everything right now 100%, like every single thing 100%, you accept every single thing right now, then you would pretty much be enlightened, because there's no resistance. There's nothing blocking. There's nothing blocking the flow. The more you resist, the more you block this natural flow. And fully accepting what you are is fully accepting that you don't know what you are. That is the full truth, is that you really don't know anything for certain. And that's like the ultimate hit to the ego. I mean, because the ego is based on certainty, but it can't last forever. And the quicker that it sees that, the quicker you can just dissolve that inclination to like really dig yourself in and, oh man, I gotta be certain, I gotta be like, that's the ego. The ego is 100% like, I know this, I know that. The truth is that you really don't know anything. Like, you don't even know, you don't even know your name. Like, your name was given to you, but is it 100% true? I mean, it's only true because people in your life say that to you. But is it 100% true? I mean, really ask yourself that. Is it 100% true? Yeah, it's really going against the natural human inclination to know, to be certain, to be black and white. Spirituality is kind of opening up that gray area. So finding oneness, finding God can be seen as God finding you, right? Because you can only see God when you're not in the way, when you're not resisting. So just wanted to kind of have a raw talk today. Just throwing stuff out there related to non-duality and kind of my own journey. So I will see you in the next one.